Hello and welcome back to the reading vlogs. It is Monday. I'm checking in on a Monday, which I am actually pretty happy about. It's an early start, but I just finished a book, and because I listened to the majority of vlog, I just quickly wanted to mention it. I started it last week. That is The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, which is part 2 of the Wheel of Time series. In last week's vlog, I had the kind of a complaint that it started really slow, but that really changes in like the later parts of the book. We get a lot more action. We get a little bit of like things happening twice, which I don't like in books. I guess it kind of makes sense, but I just don't like it. We have, for example, they have a horn and a dagger, and they get stolen twice in the book, which I think like does it really need to happen twice? I feel like that's a little bit of like, But other than that, I really enjoyed the rest of the book. I give it 4 stars. I think it's not a bad second book. Like, it has a slow start, but it picks up later on. We have the typical like our characters like splitting up in the beginning, coming back together due to like different circumstances in the end for like the end fight and all of that. So we have a pretty classical setup for the fantasy. But I did really like it. I will definitely continue with the series. I think it's good, more on the classical side of fantasy. And obviously the series is really long, so we'll see how it continues on with like the later books. But I do think this is a really good second part. So I think that is actually really nice. I enjoyed it. It has like interesting like topics of like magic, alternative worlds, and all of this like reincarnation stuff and that. I think it's like really interesting themes, and yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I listened to the majority of it over the last 3 days. Like, it's a really long audiobook, but I listened to it on 2.5 times, and then it goes by actually pretty quickly. So yeah, that was actually a really good listen, and I thought I would just like simply start the vlog with that, just so we can start. And I have an idea what I will read next, and that will be um, Game of Thrones, the first book, because I want to give it a second chance. I don't think I will like it, but I do need to give it a second chance. I only own the first book. I started watching the series. I really didn't like it. I'm not much of a fan of like senseless violence and like every type of violence and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan, but I want to give it a second try. So we will probably start that one tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I did film my TBR for December today, so I need to edit that one as well. Probably tomorrow. We'll see when I have the time. But yeah, I guess tomorrow might be a good day to do that. And so yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Other than that, I'm still knitting my new sweater that I'm doing. It's still not looking much different. I am currently knitting the collar of this sweater, so there isn't much to see, but I'm making slow but steady progress, which is nice. So yeah, that is pretty much where we're at. Let's hope for a productive week, and we'll see how the reading will go with the Game of Thrones. I'm not hopeful, but I will give it my best shot, and I think it's a book that is pretty much like either you like it or you hate it. I don't think there's much of a middle ground there, just because of like the way like violence is in the book, I feel like. And I personally feel like of the stuff that I've like learned just by living, because for like a time there when the series was coming out, you couldn't really escape it. I feel like it's just one of those way too much series, but like from my personal perspective, but we'll see when I get further into the book. So yeah, that's pretty much the update for today, and I will see you tomorrow with the reading update. We'll see how the start will go, and let's just hope that I will enjoy it nonetheless in the end. That would be actually really nice, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, it is Tuesday afternoon. A little caveat, I'm feeling like I'm coming down with a cold, so let's hope I'm not, but I'm not feeling particularly great today, so I canceled my Skype date for the evening because I'm pretty sure I will go to bed pretty early today because I'm having no energy. I'm feeling pretty warm. I don't have a fever or anything, but you know if you get like a cold and you start to like get pretty warm all the time beforehand, I'm having like that phase. But that also means I'm a little bit slower with reading, like understandably, I think. But I did start a Game of Thrones today, and I did read the first 50 pages, and I am so conflicted. I have to say, I did start this book once, but I didn't get particularly far into it. And I do think I was further into it than I am right now, but like, I didn't. I didn't get like 200 pages in or something like that. I like the writing style in general. I like for example the starting scene with the direwolf puppies. Loved that scene, pretty great. What I don't like is the over sexualization because it feels uncomfortable. I feel like there's like a way to portray sexualization in books that doesn't feel uncomfortable. In this book it feels so uncomfortable. And I mean, it's normal that it does, but I don't like to read those scenes in the book. I pretty early on realized that. And that was the same problem I had the last time I read the book. I don't know if there was a particularly scene where I stopped, so there might come a scene where I will have a point where I'm like, do I really want to continue or not? But right now I do want to continue. As I said, I'm 50 pages in. I don't know if I will get much further today, but I will try to get as far as I can this week. I just don't know if I will be able to finish it this week because the book has like 800 pages or something like that. It is a pretty big book. I mean, it doesn't look as big, but it is like it has pretty thin pages and there are a lot of them. So we'll see if I can get a little bit further today. If not, I will hopefully feel a little bit better tomorrow and I can get like back into it tomorrow. But I made a start, and I think it's better than I remember, but I'm pretty sure there was a scene that made me stop reading it. I'm kind of afraid of getting to that scene, so we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I made a start. I can't ask really of much more of myself today, other than that. Yeah, other than that, I'm just doing like really slow gaming today. I'm not doing much. But yeah, that is pretty much where I'm at right now. I also didn't make that much progress with my collar. I did make a little bit of progress still yesterday, so you can see like the starting shape of the collar, but I don't know if I will get to any of that today because it takes quite a bit of brain power, and I don't know if I have any brain power left for today after work because obviously work takes a toll on me when I feel ill, and I didn't feel like really sick to like call off of work, so I did work, but now I'm just feeling really drained. So yeah, that is kind of the update for today. A quick short update because I'm not feeling well, so I will see you tomorrow, hopefully feeling better and not more ill. So let's hope to that. Good evening. It is Tuesday evening now. Yesterday I just didn't feel up to it to film anything, so I didn't film anything. But I did start a new book, which has a reason. I was sitting downstairs yesterday and I forgot Game of Thrones upstairs, and this one was sitting on my lap as yesterday. And so I just picked a book from the December TBR that I had down here. So I started Clef Kessler Night Probe, which I am halfway through now. The book is an action novel, and Dirk Pitt is in it. And we have pretty much a treaty between. I'm really sorry if you can hear my partner, he's gaming. But there's pretty much a treaty between Britain and America that got lost in like a deliberate attack, like somewhere like the early 1900s, I think. And we have an American historian that found like clues to the treaty, and she's now looking into it. And then we have Britain, who doesn't want the treaty to be found for some reason. And then we have Canada, who are trying to kill the current prime minister. And yeah, it's kind of chaotic. And yeah, obviously Dirk Pitt has already slept with our main character, the woman who found the clue for the treaty, and you know, it is a typical action novel by Clive Cussler. But yeah, I will now continue a little bit more with this one before I go to bed. But yeah, I thought I'd quickly get you up to where I'm at, and I will finish this one tomorrow. So I will give you my opinion tomorrow, and then I will probably continue with the Game of Thrones novel after that. Yeah, just a little bit of like an in-between book, if you wanted to see it that way. But yeah, I'm gonna snuggle with this one now, and we'll see how far I can come tonight, and then yeah, I will see you tomorrow with my final verdict on this one. I mean, it's a little bit more on the boring side, if I'm totally honest. But it's like a fine novel, you know. It's not bad in any way. It's just a little bit more boring for me topic-wise. Yeah, I will speak to you tomorrow, and we'll see what I thought of the rest of the book. Okay, let's talk about Night Probe. I finished it today, and what can I say about it? Let's just say it's not my favorite topic. It's like a lot. I mean, they are always politically heavy, but I felt like because here the main topic of like discovery and action and stuff like that is this treaty between England and America. I feel like it's just so politically heavy that I personally didn't enjoy that. The action is as always the action. I find it hard to give it a rating because it's like a personal, not enjoyment thing, but I do think I will go with 2 stars. Because I don't know, there's a love triangle in here which like I hate like with a passion. So that also gives minus points in my opinion, because I feel like it's always, I don't know, it's just unnecessary, especially thinking about like Dirk Pitt. He goes from one woman to the next in the books, and like, so why did there need to be a love triangle in the first place with him? It's really unnecessary. I don't know, I don't get it. And yeah, obviously the ending is a lot with like a political fallout and what's happened after like everything happened in the book, and you know, the conclusion is just so politically heavy that I didn't enjoy it. So yeah, I did like the bit of action that was in here, but I felt like especially like the beginning was like really heavy when it comes to like the political stuff. And then you have that throughout the story again and again and again. And yeah, I don't know. I think there are better ones out there in the series, to be honest. I don't know. For example, what was it? The Lost City? Is it that one? Yeah, Lost City, for example. I really loved that one. In comparison, this one really didn't feel as nice and action heavy and like adventurous as I would have loved it, which you know happens. But I can't love every single book of his, you know, or even like every single book of his. But yeah, that means I finished Cliff Cussler. It was on my TBR for next month, but you know what? I have it done, so no complaining. So yeah, probably tomorrow I will probably continue with Game of Thrones. We'll see. I have to be honest, I'm not like looking forward to reading it. I'm not excited really for it. So I am currently like on the cusp of like, do I decide to just DNF it? Because I don't know, I would love to read it, but I don't feel like I'm actually into the book. I don't know. It's like this really like hard thing of like, I'm pretty sure I won't enjoy it. I'm not really that interested, but on the other hand, I kind of want to have read it, this kind of like conundrum that I'm having right now. So I don't know. I do think I would try and continue with it tomorrow morning, but I'm just not sure. I think that's just what it boils down to. I'm just not sure, and the stuff that I did see from like everybody talking about it just didn't really intrigue me that much. So I think it's like more the thing of like I want to have read it so I can talk about it and be part of a discussion, but I'm not really interested in actually reading it. I think that is like pretty much what it comes down to, and so I don't really know how to handle that right now. So if you have any tips for that, or what you would do in that situation, just like leave it down below. Give me some tips what you would do in my part. And yeah, we'll see what I will choose tomorrow morning. I mean, I will choose something. Either I will continue with Game of Thrones or I will choose one from December's TBR. Because you know what? We can start that early anyway. I started it already, so I can continue with that one on like an earlier note. But yeah, that is kind of the update for today. I wanted to show you my knitting, but I'm currently at a point where like I can't really show you it without risking my stitches coming out. So I will do a little bit more knitting today, and then I'm hopefully able to show you my progress tomorrow. I think that is just the point where I'm at right now. So yeah, that is kind of how it's going. Other than that, I have like kind of like one of those days. Like for example, like I wanted to do a potato gratin. I don't know what the English word would be. Where you like put like potatoes in, you slice them really thinly and then you put them with like some milk and cream, and then you put cheese on top and put it in the oven, something like that. And then I got my potatoes out and they were moldy. I have no idea how the potatoes managed to get moldy in like a day, because I used them the day before, so in 2 days. I have no idea. I don't think I have ever had moldy potatoes in my life, but it was really annoying. I didn't have anything else to eat in the house because I kind of planned on eating those potatoes for the next 3 days before we were supposed to order groceries again. So we had to order some emergency groceries, which will be coming this evening. But yeah, kind of, it's like that kind of a day. So I will spend that kind of a day knitting a little bit more, which I'm making also mistakes today, which also sucks. But I kind of want to knit a little bit more and a little bit more gaming, and then we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit of a better day. Okay, it is now Saturday afternoon, I think. We have a little bit to talk about knitting wise and reading wise. So we're starting up here, which with like a knitting update, because I did want to give you one before the end of the vlog, and because this is now the end of the vlog, we're gonna have a quick little update. I did manage quite a bit. I think the last time I showed you I was still working on the collar, and I have now moved on from the collar. This is the collar here, and then we have the collar band, and then I'm now working on the increases for the body. So it is a little bit wrinkled because it's on the needles, but this is pretty much like the front, arm, back, arm, and then the other front. And so I'm doing the increases for that. So yeah, it is looking like a piece of fabric much more now, and it's pretty much like this. And yeah, it is getting like I'm making pretty good progress, I would say. I'm currently playing Anno and knitting while I'm doing that, which works pretty well for me. So that is what I will be doing the rest of the day. Yes, we will now go downstairs and I will talk a little bit about the reading and the progression I've made there, because we have a little bit of like a little bit to talk about, and yeah, so let's move down there. Let me take you with me, because I didn't want to move my knitting downstairs, because moving a yarn you're working on is always a bad idea. So okay, we are now downstairs. And we have 2 books to talk about. One is a DNF, and one is I will give it a third try, but not right now. So, first things first. Let's talk about Game of Thrones. I'm just not into it right now, but I can't accept to give it a DNF. So this is not a DNF. I will try to pick it up at like a different time where I'm maybe more inclined to actually read it. It's just I'm just not interested right now. Like I'm interested in like a general sense, but not in like I want the detailed sense. But I'm also not at the point where I want to DNF it. I want to give it another try. So this is pretty much I will pick it up at another time. I haven't given up on it yet, but I just can't deal with it right now. It's too long, it's too much. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me right now. And then the second one is the one I started this morning, and as you can see, I still have my bookmark in there from this morning. But this is not for me. I expected that. It was absolutely what I thought would happen. But I did want to, start it, give it a try. But like I read like the first 30 pages and I'm like, okay, no, this is not a book for me. And that is The Losers by David Edding, which we have in this book. We have like our main character who we get like his gist of his childhood, and then now he goes to college, and he has pretty much a really like protected childhood. His father dies when he's, I think, 18, like really like pretty quickly after he finished school, or like before he finished school. And his mother is like one of those really protective mothers who don't want her son to pretty much experience anything. He is like a football star in his school, and so they kind of all expect for him to go to college and do sports in college, but he doesn't actually want that. And so he goes to community college to support his mother because, she lost her husband. And then after 2 years, he decides, you know what, I want to go away to a college and I don't actually want to do sports. And so he does that, and that is where he meets this other guy who is like from like a rich family, who is pretty much only at college to like drink and have fun and not really take his studies too seriously. And our main character gets like swayed pretty easily. Like he meets him and he gets swayed immediately, and that is where I stopped the story because I'm just not really interested in stories like that. I guess they're probably realistic. It's probably what happens to people. I just have a hard time connecting with stories like that because I always find it to be pretty like weird to just blame other people for your choices, even though he had like a pretty protected childhood and maybe like had a hard time dealing with like the consequences of his actions. But I always find it really hard to come to terms with characters and people who like actively choose to sabotage themselves. And even though like he always talks about he knows that it's bad and stuff like that, and he still does it, and then he blames it on the other character, which I find is kind of like a little bit annoying. And so yeah, I stopped at that point. It's just not the book for me. I'm not that into contemporary, and then I'm not into like a college guy who gets his life destroyed by another college guy who is the same age as him because he goes and drinks with him instead of studying. That is pretty much where the book is going at this point, and I'm just not into it. So yeah, this is a DNF. I'm just not gonna waste my time with this, but I expected this to be a DNF, so I'm not actually that sad about it. So yeah, this is where I'm at right now. I will have to pick a new book tomorrow, which I haven't decided what I want to continue with, but we'll see. Also, tomorrow is the 1st of December, so yeah, we're already in December. It's like kind of crazy how quickly time is going by at the moment. Pretty much, especially since November was kind of like a throwaway month for me. It just wasn't a good month. I don't know. Life just got put on hold for some reason, and yeah, hopefully that will all go back to normal right now. So yeah, we will make some progress reading. I am pretty near getting to my reading goals, so I'm really happy about that. So I should be able to do that in December, which is nice. And yeah, we'll see if it's pretty dumb to do a celebratory book shopping because my goal is to get under 200 books in my TBR, but I am tempted to at least pick up like 2 or 3 books that I will then read directly, just to get something new into my library, because I have for the longest time now only read books that I have on my TBR, and I'm kind of in the mood for something new, you know. But I won't allow myself that before I'm under 200, which should be soon, you know. But yeah, that is kind of where I'm at right now. I will end the vlog here now. I don't know, I'm just pretty done with the day. I had a not so nice interaction with like a guy this morning, which made me pretty afraid for myself, which was not nice. I think it's the first time ever, like when my partner and I go out in the morning to go with the dog, you know, sometimes we stop by at the supermarket and then one of us sits outside with the dog whilst the other goes in and gets what we need. And we did that this morning, and I sat outside with the dog. And then this guy who was clearly drunk or on some type of drug came around, and he was like really, really creepy. And he made like, he said things that sounded like threats to my safety, to be honest. And so I just wrote my husband like, please, you need to hurry. I need to go away here. Like, I would have gone just into the supermarket with the dog. For my own safety, I would have done that, but I didn't want to cause a scene, you know? And yeah, so my husband hurried up and we got out of there. But that was really scary this morning. So I'm kind of done with the day, if I'm honest. It just wasn't a nice interaction. And, you know, I don't have a lot of those interactions, but like they happen, you know. I feel like if you're a female, you know what I mean. But that one was kind of particularly scary because he just kept going around me. He didn't come too near me, thankfully, because of my dog, which is a blessing that my dog is a shepherd and like a German shepherd mix. And he looks mean, is what a lot of people say. He is like the sweetest dog out there, but he looks mean. So a lot of like I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, it wasn't a nice interaction, and like my day was kind of over at that point because you know it sets the mood for the day. So yeah, sorry, quick story time at the ending. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope your reading is also kind of going good, because even though there was like I read this later and a DNF this week, I feel like that is also progress for me, like reading wise. So I'm really happy with this week's reading. So yeah, hopefully we will all have another great reading week next week, and hopefully I will also see you in my next video. So yeah, thank you for watching and bye bye.